I had an interesting question put on one of my videos this week. And the guy says, you state that with time, as the woman grows interest for you, she should as well increase her texting towards you and interaction. This is a reference to, I always tell you guys that if you hold off on texting so much, then you'll find that you can use texting as a barometer for her interest. Like as she starts to be more interested, she'll ideally, for the most part, if she's a texting person, send out, be the one to initiate more messages to you, all right? So then he says, however, if her communication style is for you to mostly lead and be the one initiating conversations, disregarding the time that you two have together, should it be communicated that you'd appreciate for her to text you more, or what could you do in this situation? So this is a little bit of advanced stuff, but here goes. And I say this because I've stressed this on previous shows, is that ultimately, in my experience and in my surveying of women, the majority of them do not need you to text them all the time. Like, I get why guys do it. You're thinking, I need to still initiate text to her because if I'm not contacting her between these dates, then there's a shot that she's going to lose interest. And what I try to stress to you guys is that women that have high interest will not lose interest in you if they don't hear from you for a couple of days. So let me just ease the mind of you guys out there, right? A sane woman that has a good head on her shoulders, that, you know, understands that maybe when you're not in her presence, that you have stuff going on, just like she has stuff going on. Those kind of women are rarely going to get butthurt or mad if they only hear from you when you're trying to ask them out. Because ultimately, the best buildup for relationships is in person. You know, going on dates, tactilely seeing each other, touching each other, feeling each other, hooking up with each other, exploring the world and vacations and stuff together. Like, those are the times you can sit down with each other. You can have conversations where you can say something and not have it misinterpreted in a certain way, or you can be able to better explain yourself in a way that doesn't look so desperate and needy like it would through text. Because, like, for example, you could say like a 30-second tidbit in person and it's no harm, no foul. But you type out that 30-second tidbit on a text, it becomes like 12 lines long, and that gives the impression of neediness, even though you're not actually trying to be needy. You're just trying to get all your thoughts out in one text, right? And so I say this because so many men are tricked into thinking that communication needs to be ongoing. From the second that she agrees to a date with you, it's like you guys are, it's unsaid that you're officially in a non-relationship relationship, and therefore you have to now give her the benefits of that, which means reaching out all the time. But I have dated women that didn't need all that much texting. I'd literally go on a date with them, have a good time, wait 4 or 5 days, and then I text them again, hey, let's go on another date. They say yes, go out, have a good time, repeat, repeat, repeat. And you're looking at texting as the only way to really get a woman's read as if she likes you. And I try to stress that yes, for women that like to text, that is definitely a tell, that they'll text you a little bit in the beginning. And then if you're leaving them alone, then as they start to like you more and want to see you more, they're going to initiate more, they're going to reach it more. That is one way to get a read on if a woman is building interest. But also, you want to look for things like consistency. When you ask her on dates, is she constantly enthusiastic? Is she constantly saying yes? Is she going on these dates and consistently touching you, kissing you, hooking up with you, etc.? So I've listed like 5 other ways that she could be showing you interest. So if you're looking at all 5 of these things and she's doing 4 of them, but the one she's not doing is texting, you're good. All right. If she's touching you on dates, you're good. If she's saying yes to dates and not flaking, you're good. If she's hooking up with you on dates, you're definitely good. So all these other things are more important than, oh, but she doesn't call me in between things. She could very well be an old-fashioned lady that's just like, hey, I got taught when I was little that guys don't want you hounding them all the time. So you wait for them to reach out and ask for a date, at which point you do the ladylike thing and say, okay, let's go on a date. I'd actually love to do that. So again, if she's saying yes to those things and she's consistent in that, then understand she just may not be a texter. And on your end of things, you need to get over having to hear from somebody all the time, because you're wanting that, because you're thinking, I need definitive proof that this woman likes me. And if I don't hear from her, it makes me start to feel uneasy. I feel unsure of myself. I'm not sure if she likes me. And I need that validation. Get over needing that validation. Okay, real talk. Like, be happy that you don't have a woman that needs to hear from you from text all the time, because there are women out there that, if I've been with that kind of woman where, like, you know, you try to text them and then you try to stop because you want to eat dinner and she's still trying to text you. And if you wait like 5 minutes, hey, I didn't hear from you. What's going on? Why aren't you answering me? Oh my God. And those kind of women are a hassle and a hound to deal with. So I'm telling you, guy, you're in the lucky category. Now, all that said, if texting to you is a really huge, humongous detail, I don't recommend going in and saying, hey, just so you know, like, I'd appreciate if you text me more, blah, 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 because that doesn't, I know you want to do that, and it's not fair that you can't, but it does make you come across as a needy guy that's only confident if a woman's texting him all the time. Otherwise, he's not sure of himself, and that is very unattractive to women. I recommend those kind of things you tell by way of story. You could say, like, yeah, you know, my love language is communication, and just like, I just really like being able to hear from somebody on a consistent basis, because it just makes me feel like that person's putting forth effort, just like I'm putting forth effort. You could say it that way, where you're not directly saying it at her, but it lets her know that one of the ways that you feel cared for is by getting a more consistent texting. But again, I stress, you should not be reading texting solely as the only proof that she's liking you. She's doing these other things. Maybe let the texting thing slide. Maybe that's not her thing. Maybe she's like, hey, I want to be able to, like, not know everything about my guy's day, so we have stuff to talk about on the date, which I think a lot of people, I know when I was doing a lot of texting back in the day, that was always my trouble, is that we do all this texting beforehand, and then I see her in person, and I have nothing to say, because now I've said everything I wanted to on text, and now I'm lost for words, and now I'm sitting there struggling to come up with conversation. And that is more annoying than maybe I just leave her alone for a few days, and maybe she leaves me alone for a few days, and we don't text, and we still know that we like and care for each other. Because in a real relationship, in the day-to-day, there's going to be times where you're not going to want to be around that other person. You're going to want your alone time, especially if you're an introvert. And do you want to take your alone time and have your significant other thing, because they're not talking to me right now, they must not like me? So take it like that. If she's not texting you, it doesn't mean she don't care. It could very well just mean that she's waiting for you. She's old-fashioned. And more importantly, she wants to wait before she sees you to not give up her whole day, so she has stuff to talk about. All right?
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class